I've been really excited to try out DESTI's, which is the Department of Education for Massachusetts, new kind of piloting tool that they're using to look at student work. And what I love about it is there's a question in there that's kind of like a gut punch in a good way. And it's asking, do I have a tendency to kind of over scaffold or make the task easier, I think is their language, instead of scaffold in a way that allows all students to access grade level challenge. Now, scaffolding is great. I think I never was trained enough and supported enough to think about what scaffolding is. I would always forget to remove it gradually. And so now as a coach, I see these things and I'm like, okay, how could we do better as a kind of a collective? Because I certainly needed the support. And one framework I just found recently, or has existed, and I just finally learned about it, is WIDA's 2020 framework. I've been digging through their stuff, but they put out a bulletin in support of this concept of macro versus micro scaffolding. And so I really love it. I'll link to it in the description for this video as well. That it is so cool. When we think about macro, we think about like the pre-planning, what might my students struggle with, kind of anticipatory, I know my kids, here's what I'm going to do. And I think a lot of us do that really well, in part because it's really hard to have like 30 students and like pick what all of them need in the moment and kind of micro scaffold, which is the other piece of this scaffolding framework, and respond in the moment. So we do macro really well, I think. And sometimes we do macro in a way, I think, that over scaffolds students. Challenge levels, right? And so they are not challenged enough, or everyone gets the sentence starter, right? When actually students may be able to choose access to a sentence starter if they get stuck. So just a very basic kind of example here, but I want us to start thinking about, am I over scaffolding? And if so, is it just kind of a switch from macro to micro? And could I maybe pre-plan some options to be able to respond in the moment with a student who needs it, but not to give it to everyone right off the bat? I'd love to know if this sounds helpful, if you want more examples, if you can share your own examples. Would love to continue this conversation. I think it's such a big one that many teachers at all grade levels have certainly been struggling with. I certainly struggled with it, and so I'd love to hear your thoughts.